What's up, everybody? It's your boy Otto coming to you live and direct from the grotto down here at 3 Minute Basement. This video is quick and short. It's going to be about 6 books that I'm going to send off to Rocket Comics to have pressed and then submitted to CGC. It's going to be a while, but you know what? Let's get the video started after our sick intro.
Banded together from remote galaxies are 13 of the most sinister villains of all time, the Legion of Doom. Dedicated to a single objective, the conquest of the universe. Only one group dares to challenge this intergalactic threat.
All right, everybody, let's get started. But remember, we are always sponsored by Rocket Comics. Rocket Comics is your one-stop shop for CGC pressing, submissions, and signature series. We will get through this. The con season we will have a con season, whether it's small or rescheduled and stuff like that. So have no fear. I have faith that the world will be back the way it should be after this COVID-19 pandemic is over with. So the reason I'm doing this video is because I've been stacking on some books, and I was talking to everybody at Rocket Comics and just seeing the way the comic industry is working right now. And now is a good time to get some books sent out and pressed, and then sent to CGC. Well, when will I get them back? I don't know. They're moderns, there's some Silver Age, stuff like that. It's going to be a while, but as long as I have books rolling in, we can do CGC unboxings for you guys here at 3 Minute Basement. Remember, we never know our grades, okay? So, first book is a book that isn't in a bad way. So what I will do is I will tell you what I think the grade is currently, what I think it'll come back after a press, and what I'm happy with. And you guys know that that's what we do on 3 Minute Basement. So, first book is X-Men number 12. Okay, this book has significant spine roll. It has some chipping up here, but you know what? It's an X-Men book. It's a Silver Age key, and it has equity. Okay, for the price that I paid for it and the money that I'm going to invest to have it cleaned, pressed, and submitted, no matter what I get this book at, when I bring it to a con, it will give me equity as I'm looking to trade for something, trade up for something, or just to have it. So this book is a 100% book that's based on equity, and hopefully this will come back maybe a 4, 3.5 to 4, but I'm sure Scott can fix that spine damage. There is the chipping up here, but again, I'm thinking, looking at some other books, 3, 3.5, and still it is first Juggernaut at 3.5. So first book that's going to Rocket Comics. Second book is a book that I know it's going to come back at, but it's going to be part of my collection, and I think it's pretty cool. And I don't know where I found this book, you guys. I mean, I've been collecting since I was 10, 12 years old, on and off. I've been back in the game for 5 or 6 years now on Instagram and YouTube as of the past 3 years, but I always bought books. Like, even when I wasn't buying comics, I was still buying comics. So I found this in a drawer that had stuff in it from when I was in college, and I'm an old dog, so you know, I don't know where I ended up with this, but this is FF48. Okay, this is coverless, but this is the first appearance of Galactus and the Silver Surfer. Okay, so this book, actually, I think this is 47. I will tell you. Yeah, this is 47. Yeah, and it has no cover. But you know what? I'm going to have it pressed, and I'm going to have it sent to CGC, and it's going to come back in a CGC case, and it's going to look great as a display. Because how many times do you see this like that? And it's going to come back NG, no grade, but I'm okay with it. And you might be saying, well, why would you spend the money for that? You know what? It's first appearance of Galactus. It's first appearance of Silver Surfer. It's an iconic FF book, probably one of the top 5 important FF books that there are out there. And the fact that I had it sitting in a drawer and it's survived to this day, I don't know. And I can't even tell you where I got this book. But anyway, going to come back, no grade, totally fine with it. But you know what? It's going to be encased in a nice CGC slab with some writing on it, so I'm okay with that. Next book is a book that I purchased from the man True Dan, IG Royalty, and gave me a great price for this book. And it's a Spider-Man blue chip, and it's a Spider-Man key. And I've been slowly knocking off those keys, and other than the Green Goblin, and I think the next big one I need is Lizard, I need Rhino, and I think I'll be all set with my Spider-Man with my big keys, and of course, first appearance of Sinister Six. But this is a book that I wasn't looking for, but when you know collectors come with stuff, and I already knew he had it, and he made me a great deal on it, so I couldn't pass it up. It's Spider-Man number 9, first appearance of Electro. Man, I read this book the other day. This is great Ditko stuff. This book definitely does need a press. It's got lots of waves in it. The spine is intact, but it is very weak. but the colors look great. The back looks good. I'm thinking 3.5 to 4. And if it comes back at 2.5, then I'm about flush for what I paid for it, to be honest with you. So Spider-Man blue chip key right here. First appearance of the Electro classic Ditko, knocking those off. Okay. Next book is a book that I have 4 or 5 raw copies of it, and I'm slowly getting those centered in. And it's a book that a lot of people have been specking on in the comic book community. Very Gary, Erod, myself. I have 3 or 4 already graded copies, nothing higher than a 5.5. But this is FF King Size Annual 6, the first appearance of Annihilus, and the first appearance of Franklin Richards. Okay, so let's not sleep on that, as like very Gary likes to say. This book, I'm hoping it comes back a 5. It's got some, well, maybe not, maybe 3.5. It's seen some better days on here, but other than that, the square bound is very intact. Colors look bright. This side has seen some better days. So another book that I'm going to have that I'm going to sit on, and another book to have as equity as the next year or 2 goes on. Not in a hurry to bring it. Probably couldn't get more than $100, $150 raw for it, but it is a book that I definitely have as equity now. Okay, good book. Now, I'm a big Mysterio fan, and let me tell you, Jake Gyllenhaal killed it as Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home, and that's just my opinion, and I don't care what you say. So I thought Gyllenhaal killed it as a villain. He was ruthless. He was just like Mysterio in the comic books. Mysterio wanted to kill Superman. He didn't want to ruin him. He didn't want to do anything. He wanted to kill Spider-Man. Did I say Superman? Okay, but he wanted to kill Spider-Man. And in the movie, Gyllenhaal made it perfectly aware of it. So my first Mysterio is a 7.0, okay? I kind of splurged for that book just because I absolutely love it. And I did find a nice copy of 66 with him on the cover. And I'm going to have this pressed and cleaned, and I'm hoping it comes back a 7, because why? If my first Mysterio is 7 and this comes to 7, that's linear, folks. Otto loves his books linear, okay? But I don't think so. I think this is a prettier book. This might come back at 8.5, 9. If it comes back anything below a 7, I'm unhappy with it. But I did have it. It is in this heavy top loader and just a clean book, and it is a very white cover, but I think the guys at Rocket Comics can clean it up and make it look even prettier. So, Amazing Spider-Man 66, classic Romita cover. So I'll have, a Ditko and Romita Mysterio. So you guys know, 181 is my grail of all times. I do have that. I have 180 and 181, both at a 9.2. This summer, I will be looking to get 182 at a 9.2. I had that at the 9.4, but I had to trade it to get the 9.2 and the 180. But we always forget about Wendigo. And I picked up a nice copy, Hulk 162, of the first appearance of Wendigo. And this is a Len Wein cover, God rest his soul. This book has got one little tick. I own like 3 copies of this, and this is by far the best one. And I've been hem and hawing about sending it in. But so now, you know what? I got this nice copy. This is getting sent in. Very good for my personal collection as far as my Hulk 181 display goes. So yeah, first appearance of Wendigo by Len Wein. Now, as you guys know, I've been after this book for quite some time, and we had a comic swap, and I did buy this off Roger Levesque. He'll tell you he gave me a great price. I think he gave me a decent price, but I don't think this is a 9.8, and that's where him and I disagreed on it. So this is first Black Mask, Batman 386, and just like those Spider-Man villains, I'm working on those Batman villains, not all at once, obviously. Before I was a comic book collector, I was a Batman fan, so I am a true X-Men comic book collector and fan, but before anything, Batman was the first superhero that I ever touted and wanted to be as far as dressing up. So, cool book right here. Haven't watched Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, but maybe I will in the next couple days. So, we're going to send this off, hoping for 9.6, 9.4, 9.8 Karate Chop would be great, but I don't think so. I'm a little optimistic about that. But, again, it's going to get sent out and pressed, and we'll see what it comes back at. You know what? Maybe you get a little lucky. Now, this book was a gift from Rocket Comics. This is the John Tyler Christopher C2E2 absolutely exclusive. This is going to look phenomenal in my Hulk 181 display. This is the Wolverine cover. And it's funny because the people at Rocket Comics gifted this to me, and now I'm just sending it back to them and being like, hey, submit it, send it in. Obviously I want a 9.8 on this. I think at a 9.8, this is like a $400 book, and this was a straight up act of kindness from the cool people at Rocket Comics. So definitely just into it. Definitely into it for the nostalgia of it. It's great. The negative aspect of it. Wolverine looks fantastic. John Tyler Christopher absolutely killed it, and it is 170. It's 1734 of 3,000. So there's limited to 3,000. Next is my last book, the biggest book, the number one book on my 2020 want list, and I'm already happy to have it. And I have no idea what this book is going to come back at. I have Brave and the Bold 28 at a 4.0, so obviously I would love a 4.0. If it comes back below a 4.0, like a 3.5 and a 3.0, oh well. It's a very underrated DC key, and I think any time is a good time to buy DC keys because people they hold value. They're getting harder and harder to find. But people are just so into Marvel right now. But it's okay. It's okay. It's the way you collect. Of course we have technical difficulty right at the end of the video. Why wouldn't we have technical difficulties? So without further ado, here's my Justice League #1 that I'm sending off to get cleaned, pressed, and submitted. This is not tape damage. This is some type of foxing. And I don't understand what it is, and I don't think it'll get cleaned up. But as you can see, the edges on this side are very, very clean. Corners look great. I'm hoping, I don't know what this is going to bring it back at. I'm going to have to do some consulting with Scott and those guys. But again, it is Justice League #1. It is first appearance of Despero. Just a classic book, and I'm so happy to have it as far as one of my big DC keys, and just very, very happy to have it. And I'm thinking 3.5, 4. If it comes back a 5, I'm elated. I just don't know what they're going to do about that. So that is my stack of books that is going off to CGC right here as soon as Rocket Comics, as soon as I get off doing this video. I'm going to launch this video probably in the middle of the week. So right about when this time is viewing on 3 Men in a Basement is when it will be on its way to Rocket Comics. So please comment, subscribe, like, share our videos, guys. We really appreciate it. We just had the king of all nerds, Mr. Mitchell A.S. Halleck, the producer of Terrificon. He told us some phenomenal, phenomenal stories. He's also going to be coming back on, hopefully within the next 6 to 8 weeks. We also had Manimal on Saturday night, so Justin and I jumped on. We're also trying to drop new content. So as always, on behalf of 3 Men in a Basement, on behalf of Lords of the Long Box, I am Otto, and I am out. Peace.